you something. In our senior year, my friend Harry Elliott and I knew one of us was going to have the male lead in the show, but we didn't know what the show was going to be. I think we argued about it for months, because Harry could actually sing, I never could. But the show they announced, we both of us just like couldn't believe it. It was Maine. The one guy dies at the end of the first act, the other guy doesn't show up till the second act. And you were the houseboy, weren't you? Should have gone for that part. And the other thing, we're talking about how Jerry was proud of his kids. I remember the first time that he brought Jody in when she was a baby, backstage, and everybody was fawning over her, and then, you know how your mind works. Jody ended up being my babysitter for my kids. And I told her tonight, I said, she's the best babysitter we ever had. You're not still doing that, are you? They're a little bigger now. Anyway, more stories now from the class of 1978. Please welcome Bob Ventola.
It's weird for me to be on this side of the stage. Those who know me, I'm usually lurking about. Anyway, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Kenton student alumni, fellow Kenton faculty, and of course, the friends of the Starr family. My name is Bob Ventola, and I share the honor of being asked to speak here this evening. I'd like to share a little bit about how I've been affected, mentored, guided because of my interactions with Jerry Starr in this special place. There are many auditoriums around Western New York, places where large numbers of people come together for a singular experience. Some of these venues change their names yearly, but none I know of is dedicated to the memory of anyone special until now. Till here. Because I believe what we had here was special. Something special led by someone special. A man who made us better adults because of what he did for us when we were kids. And he kept at this for almost 4 decades. Mr. Starr was the first face I learned when I was a student at Kenmore West. I was assigned to room 137 as a sophomore, because we came in as sophomores in those days, and went back there for homeroom. Found my way to the backstage group in the morning. There was this wonderful social hub that was here. Didn't know what it was about, but every morning before school, that's who I saw. Mr. Starr made us all feel welcome as we were coming into the school, and so we didn't get lost in the big crowd. And during the opening weeks, he would also remind us that you gotta get involved in something. Find something at the school, get involved with it. And he invited the group to come to a stage crew meeting, whatever that was going to happen there after school that day. Now, I talked to a few other guys in there and said, what the heck? 3 of us showed up. Little I know what I was in for. That was my beginning working with Mr. Starr. I called him Mr. Starr then. He was the advisor of stage crew, the Thespian Club, the Devil's Choice dance team. He directed the school play, the musical, and he had performances that he chose for the Spring Arts Festival. He had contact with hundreds and hundreds of students outside of the classroom environment. I remember him telling us in shows that there are no small parts, only small actors. And he made it feel like everyone contributed and everyone was important to whatever he did. At the end of my junior year, 1977, this is, Mr. Starr assigned me the position of crew chief. I was given the responsibilities and held accountable for the technical aspects of the auditorium. Who knew then how long of an assignment that would turn out to be? During the school productions, I got to meet hundreds of students. At that time, each grade level had about 1,000 students in it, and it was easy to get lost in the population. But now, SJ, because I got to call him that, made sure that everybody was there, and everybody knew what they had to do in their performances. I had the opportunity to work with outside traveling groups that came in and rented the auditorium. And I was treated like a professional tech director, which is quite a power trip when you're 16 years old. I graduated from Kenmore West in 1978, but I always returned to do summer musicals. I would get a call from SJ about what show it would be, and then I would would contact my best friend, Bill Hammerschlag, who I met through stage crew, incidentally, and we would concoct something in terms of a design for a show. Then we would have the meeting. We would have dinner at the Starr residence to pitch our plans. Standard fare was apricot chicken and rice. And at this point, SJ was no longer just my teacher, but he had become one of my friends. Over the ensuing years, long hours of production schedules in the summers, there was always time for chit-chat while we waited for the next scene to get ready. And we talked about my teaching career. I was working in the city of Buffalo. I recall discussion of grading policy, classroom activities. He gave me a lot of good advice for a first-year teacher. He was my first educational mentor, as well as a role model of how a teacher should be and how they should interact with students. It was kind of nice, as SJ would say. In September of 1991, I had taken a job as a science instructor at Kenmore West. The truth is, Jerry had a huge part in my landing that job. Jerry made sure that I was assigned the role of advisor for the stage crew almost the first day at school. I was no longer the student or the mentee working for some director. I was now his colleague. I continued on as the technical director for stage crew advisor and worked the summer musicals after Jerry retired. While I did retire my technical director position in 2000 with the birth of my son, Jerry and his daughter Robin knew that I was just a phone call away if they ever needed me for something. For me, the Auditorium was my home for several years. I put in many hours here, and I consider it a personal honor to have known Jerry Starr.